LTE or maybe even 5G internet backup with your iPhone to the Omada system and compare it to Unifi, a UDM Pro to be exact. That's how this all started. Just giving you a warning, this rabbit hole got a little deep and I had to cut it off at some point. But I did learn something. Yeah, I have no idea how I'm going to name this video. What's up YouTube, Jason here with Byte My Bits. If you guys are not familiar, I have recently been playing around with and testing certain things with the TP-Link Omada system. Now they've let me demo a number of different hardware devices like wireless access points, for example, but primarily this video today, I wasn't really worried about the Wi-Fi aspect of it. In fact, when I boot up all my Wi-Fi and I haven't really configured all the channels, it kind of messes with my regular Wi-Fi. So I unplugged those for today's test. No, instead the TP-Link router actually has a USB port on the front, and I was able to plug in a Verizon wireless hotspot, like one of those little puck things, and get failover WAN from that port. God, why was that so difficult to... So I immediately got excited because in my head, I knew that the Unifi UDM Pro series does not have a USB port, at least not the regular Pro. They got like the new Pro out there, but I don't have access to that. And I don't even know if the new Pro has a USB and or if it can play well with, LTE modems. But I got excited because I'm like, this is it. I can make a video that actually makes TP-Link Omada really stand out in a significant way compared to the Unifi system, because hypothetically speaking, if you're running Omada, you got your primary network down for whatever reason, you could literally just go plug in your iPhone. A lot of people have iPhones. A lot of people can sign up for the little hotspot plan right off their phone. And you can technically get back online, get your entire network going by just plugging in your phone. At least that was the idea. And here's where the rabbit hole began, because it didn't work, which was weird. Not to divert too much, but I'm actually in the process of testing out a power station, just a big battery that has a Wi-Fi LTE router built into the top of it. I think this thing is like extremely interesting, and I really wanted to test different SIM cards that have different plans. We're talking like an iPhone data plan, a regular tablet data plan, and an actual like Verizon hotspot data plan. So because I was testing these things out and I had the Verizon hotspot little hockey, I don't even know what it's called. Anyways, I had that thing, it had a USB Type-C, and I'd plugged it in to the Omada system, and it just freaking picked it up, and it worked. It was amazing. I instantly had mobile internet backup failover WAN on the TP-Link Omada system. And then I just take a quick look at my UDM Pro and I'm like, bro, you can't even keep up with this right now. Like, I have to go out to the Unifi website and I got to purchase a $200 plus. Actually, if you get the cheaper one, you're forced on AT&T, which, those rate plans are like $15 a month plus $10 per 1 gig over the first gig, which basically means that you can get a super expensive build. That I digress. But anyways, you can get an EU version that's just a little bit more and allows you to get those CDMA frequencies that Verizon primarily uses for LTE. This is not, 5G, but just LTE in general. Unifi kind of forces your hand. They don't give you a USB port, so you can't just plug in and take advantage of the hardware you already have. So you have to get an external router. Unifi has their own, of course, but there's much better ones out there. For instance, there's one brand that seems to be pretty popular on Reddit that I found. I cannot remember what it's called, but I'll have video overlay. It's like a UAUX R12 something yada yada. Anyways, this is essentially an LTE modem with dual SIM cards. So not only do you have the ability to plug in like a WAN port, like backup failover internet, but your backup failover internet device will also have a backup failover SIM card. You have backups to your backups, brah. Oh, I'm losing my mind. And there's even better options than that. The one I was looking at was LTE. There's 5G versions. There's cheaper versions. I had to put a stop to the rabbit hole. I'm just going to let you know right there. I decided that today's video is going to be focused on stuff that I have in my house. Because really blowing money on a bunch of crap I don't need is not an option right now, so I got to work with what I got. iPhones, or actually in today's case, Synology. Synology really saved the day when it came to backup internet. I'll get to more of that in a little bit. So the USB port on the Omada system recognized instantly my little hotspot from Verizon that I was testing out. Unfortunately, whenever I plugged in the iPhone and tried to use that, because you can share through the little iPhone cable, it did not pick it up, did not register. It played with all the different settings. I could not get it to pick up. So that was just kind of a failure. So I instantly lost my video idea because it's like, okay, well, it doesn't work on Omada and doesn't work on the UDM Pro, just kind of SOL. But then I remembered a video that I made about a Synology router. A Synology router that I pointed out a very key feature that I significantly remember people criticizing me for, saying it was a stupid thing for me to be proud of, but you know what? Here we are. This thing. This is the Synology thing. RT6600AX. That's right, they sent this over for me to check out, and I've used this as like the stepchild router. Like I literally used it to go camping and hook it up with Starlink, which performed phenomenally, by the way. It's been rained on, it's been dirty. I've cleaned this thing a couple times. I blew this thing out and I had freaking sand. I mean, this thing's been used and abused, and I'm really kind of surprised it's still working. But the feature that I love the most about this thing, because it was so interesting, is not only do you have the WAN 1, WAN 2, I think you can only do WAN 2, yeah. But it also has a mobile internet backup that you can plug in your iPhone, literally just your iPhone, enable your hotspot, and you can share that data through this device, and this will internally use its own subnet and everything and feed your entire network. I thought this was a big deal, and a lot of people kind of gave me some criticism saying that, oh, that's been a thing. No. Yeah, there's other routers out there that have the ability to plug into an iPhone. Absolutely. I'm not saying this is literally the only thing on the market. What I'm saying is that supporting the iPhone natively, being able to plug it in, click a little button, and not have to take out your SIM card or move things over or just severely inconvenience yourself just in the idea of having some internet in a crisis situation. That's really why I thought this thing stood out, just because of how easy it worked. Fast forward to today, and that's basically saving the idea of my video because, yeah, here's what I did. I took this. I kept it in router mode, right? I didn't plug in a main WAN. I just plugged in my iPhone. This connected to both my Omada system in the WAN port and to my Unifi system as a backup WAN. So I had a router running a subnet, going to two different routers, running two different subnets. Yeah, it's a little stupid, but this is the test in an environment that I live in. And what do you know? It worked amazing. Now, some key differences here with Omada versus Unifi. First of all, Omada, I've been playing around with Omada. And the more I play around with it, the more I kind of get the feeling like they just haven't had the time to really streamline the interface, make it feel polished. You know, like most of the stuff's still there, but it's just kind of weird. Like a weird example, if you wanted to test your internet speeds, specifically when I had the mobile network plugged in, like instead of showing you an actual thing saying how fast you're going, they just do a generic, move back and forth, animation, and then everything seems frozen as far as the numbers go, and then it pops up after a while and be like, this is your test result. Like, not only can it not show me the test result numbers in real time, but it also distracts me with a completely pointless animation of a speed test going up to 200 megabits and then starting over. Like, come on, that I feel like was like, oh yeah, we should add a test thing. Hey intern, yo, come here, can you do this? Yeah, you got like 10 minutes. That's how I feel about some things with the Omada system. I'm not here to rag on it. I'm just saying when I go from the Omada system over to my Unifi system to do the exact same thing, connecting to this subnet router as a backup internet source, because this router is connected through my iPhone in the tethering mode, it's a more of a seamless process. And the UDM Pro kind of snuck in like, oh, by the way, we also do this now. 3 months ago, they snuck in an update that allows you to reassign ports 8 through 11 as a backup WAN port. I finally just upgraded recently to this new version, and I played around with it with the Synology. Now, at this point of the game, the Synology is nothing more than a glorified LTE modem, essentially, basically. I mean, yes, it's using my iPhone, and it's kind of, okay, whatever. But still, it created a network and it supported the Omada and the Unifi system, both as backup WAN ports. And ultimately, I was able to switch over my entire network just by unplugging my primary WAN port on my Unifi system, and everything switched over within about, I think it was about 30 seconds to the backup internet running through this router. So what are my takeaways from this little rabbit hole science experiment that just started one place and then ended completely different? Number one, the iPhone connecting through a USB cable plugging into the back of your router is in fact a pretty good unique feature. So come at me, bro. Prove me wrong. Number two, really when it comes down to Unifi and Omada, if you're trying to do this, like let's say with an iPhone, I don't know how Android is, but if you're trying to do this with an iPhone, your best bet realistically is just to get another device. Like for example, a router that supports it. Number C, if you actually want to dedicate a SIM card, and I'm talking dedicate a SIM card with legitimate backup internet, failover internet, and you want to do that, there seems to be 100 different options out on the market for an LTE or possibly even a 5G modem that you can connect to all kinds of things, which opens up the door. I mean, that's why I stopped the rabbit hole, because it's just Ethernet out. You can plug it into anything. If the thing supports backup WAN, then you're good to go. It's even cooler, like when you have a backup SIM card for your backup SIM card for your backup WAN. It's like, I'm good. Because really, I want Starlink internet as my backup internet, but swallowing that $110 a month bill for essentially a full-on service internet that I would really just be using for backup internet, it's definitely not in my cards right now. I think many of you understand why, but I'm just exploring different options. It may just be a recent obsession with backup internet because Cox has went down in like the last week and a half for a minimum of 3 hours each time. And when I'm home and I'm trying to do things, especially get online, research, look at things, or upload a video or whatever, if I don't have internet, it's like just kind of shut down. Yeah, I can plug in my phone into my computer and then I can kind of sort of get internet just on my computer, but maybe I want it on my whole network. At least the cool part here is that the TP-Link Omada has a USB port, whereas the Unifi UDM Pro does not. They straight up said, screw you, buy more stuff. The TP-Link Omada system, however, does support a Verizon Hotspot USB connection. So if you had something like that and you wanted to plug it in, it would work. I don't have an Android device, so I have no option to test just a standard Android device. It may or may not work on the TP-Link Omada. In fact, if you guys have the TP-Link Omada and you want to test this out for me, leave it in the comment section down below. One last thing. Okay, they came out with this upgrade with the Unifi where you can have load balancing and or backup internet, whatever, with the Unifi Pro, UDM Pro. However, the TP-Link Omada system, I believe you can have 3 WAN ports. So what would that mean? What would that look like, ignoring the price? What would that look like if you had your main internet connection, you had a Starlink backup WAN, you had a mobile network backup WAN, and then, because the mobile network backup WAN doesn't actually count as one of the WAN ports, and then you could use your third WAN as an actual like AT&T or whatever 5G, whatever SIM card, dual SIM card, maybe you have a couple of them, just whatever. One of those devices that runs separately and have an outported Ethernet cable. Yeah, you know what I mean. I think if you take all of those options and you combine them all into one, you're going to have a ginormous waste of time. And I really hope that you have a reason for it because I think it's a little out of control. Hence the rabbit hole. I will say this, looking at the Unifi system, the little add-on thing that they have, it's through AT&T, the one that's for the United States. It's through AT&T. You can order the EU version and use your own SIM card, and you can plug in Verizon if you wanted to, if you really have signal issues. But if you're willing to spend, let's say the $200 up front, sign up for an AT&T data plan, and this is legitimately just going to be backup, failover internet, and you don't think you're going to be using that much data, the AT&T thing actually kind of sounds like a really good option. I'm not gonna lie, because realistically in a good case scenario, you're really not going to use that much data. So just having a $15 a month charge makes a minimal way for you to have backup internet. The only problem I see with is really just getting overcharged through the roof into bankruptcy. I'm sure that AT&T has systems in play that kind of limit how much you could, rack up in overages, but If hypothetically something goes down, let's say you're not even at the house, your failover kicks in, cool, your internet's down, you don't really know, maybe things are still downloading, or maybe Steam's updating, Windows, whatever. I mean, if you like hit something that's like 200 gigs and you're getting charged $10 per gig, like that's enough to ruin your day, your month, and maybe your year. This coming from somebody who has absolutely no experience with these data plans, so if you have any experience, let me know down below. Well guys, that is the cluster of a video that I've worked on today. The rabbit hole started somewhere, ended somewhere else, and actually just became word vomit. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please post those in the comment section down below. As always, thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and have yourself a great day. As always, thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and have yourself